Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with another video on the journey to Generation 9, the countdown to Generation 9 for Pokemon. Scarlet and Violet come out this weekend, and so today we are going to continue our journey there with rivals. We are going to be ranking the rivals of the Pokemon series. So as you can see, we have like all the rivals from the different games, or characters who are like kind of rival adjacent. I don't know why they chose that pick for Serena. I didn't make the list. But we are going to rank them on a simple S to F scale. Very simple, very easy to understand. So let's just get going. So we start out with blue, or green, I guess, whichever version you have and everything. Gary, basically. Blue is a very simple type of rival. He's the like overly competitive rival who kind of like insults you, but not like too much. Like he's not an asshole, but he's just kind of a dick. But there's not a lot of character to him. And for a list that's ranking characters, that's a big deal for me. So, if S is like the top tier, best of the best and everything, and F is the worst of the worst, I would probably say C is kind of mid. And I would say that I would probably put him right in mid. Because again, he's not like bad or anything, but he's also just so generic and bland. He doesn't really have a lot going on for him as a character. So then we get to Bede from Generation 8. Bede is more of the actual asshole type of character. He constantly insults you, constantly insults your skills, and is doing his best to basically treat you like shit. He does kind of come around in the end after being taken in by Opal and becoming the new fairy gym leader. But he's still kind of insufferable during a lot of it. Though he's a very interesting character, and he's basically stated to be an orphan who was kind of taken in by the chairman and manipulated into doing work for him and Olena. So I kind of do feel sorry for him a little bit, but he is pretty insufferable during a lot of it. So I'm gonna put him in C as well, and I'll put him right below blue. I would put him higher if he wasn't as insufferable during the game. But I don't feel like I don't feel like he's bad enough to put lower, because I feel like he does have a lot of good character to him and is. You can feel sorry enough for him. So next we get to Hop, also from Generation 8, the younger brother of Champion Leon. Hop is one of the most complex rivals, I would say. Not only does he want to surpass his brother and become the new champion, but we see throughout the games he has a very big issue with self-confidence that he manifests as overconfidence. And there's a couple points where you see him struggling with depression and fear. Not just for himself, but even for dragging his brother's name down with him. He's a very interesting character, very well written, and in my opinion, one of the best rivals, hands down. I would put him in the A tier, because I do think there are others that are better than him, but I do think he deserves to be pretty high up there. So next we get to Marnie. Everyone loves Marnie. We all know Marnie is awesome. She has a great personality. She's super likable. She's competitive, but not a jerk. She's really nice. She has a great connection with her brother Piers. Marnie is awesome. No one's going to deny that. I feel like she has a little less depth to her than Hop, though, so I'm going to put her just below Hop. but they're very neck and neck for me. So now we get to the rivals from the Isle of Armor. I believe the first one's name is Avery. He's the rival if you have Shield, and yeah, I barely pay a lot of attention to him because he's just kind of a twat. He sucks. He's a jerk and never feels like anything more. I don't give a shit about him. I don't like his design either. Like, with all the other rivals we've already gone through, I like their designs, even if some of them are more simplistic. I don't like Avery's design. I think that's his name. The fact that I'm even having trouble remembering his name exactly is saying something. He is definitely one of my least favorite rivals in the entire series, but I don't know if he's bad enough to put in an F, so I'm just going to put him in E for the moment. If I feel like he deserves to go to F, if I feel like more so later on that, then I'll change it. But then we go into one of my absolute favorite rivals, Clara. And it's funny because their personalities are pretty similar, but Clara's is done in a more tsundere way. And I don't usually like tsunderes. Like, it's one of those character archetypes that I've just never really been super into. But there are a certain couple characters who do the tsundere so well that it actually wins me over. Beatrice from ReZero, Tatsumaki from One Punch Man, and definitely Clara from Pokemon Gen 8, The Isle of Armor. Clara is hilarious. Like, absolutely fucking hilarious. Her personality is, like, literally toxic. That's literally the point. She's a poison type user. Her design being very butterfly inspired and looking very cutesy, as well as her personality, like kind of coming across as maybe a little sweet at times, but then also showing her psychotically toxic side, is fantastically handled and written. She's also one of the best looking designs in all of Pokemon, I would say. And just in general, like, even despite her toxic personality, she's somehow still excessively likable. And so it's like, without question, she's an S tier for me. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not, but she is 100% an S tier for me. So now we get into Silver. Silver has a lot of the same issues that Blue has, with not being very two-dimensional, but he's definitely more two-dimensional than Blue. Silver is, I don't remember if it's confirmed or just implied that he's the son of Giovanni in the games. But he's one of those characters who's an absolute jerk to you, like, much more so than Blue was. But he also seems to have, like, this chip on his shoulder that he's just not really good at getting rid of. Silver, I would say, is a better rival than Blue, but not by a lot. So I would put him still in C tier. Next we have, I think the official name is Elio and May. Gen 3 rivals based on who you choose and everything. And I think these are specifically the, technically actually the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire looks for them, but still. They're very blank characters. There is not much to them. It's like they are just the most stereotypical, bland rival character possible. It's like, whichever character you choose, the other one is just there as kind of a placeholder, the child of the professor and everything. There is very little to them, and as such, honestly, even though I kind of like their designs, they are so unmemorable to me. I would say they are both D tier. I would put May a little higher just because I like her design a little bit more. Wally, the character everybody hates for some fucking reason and always gets me pissed off every time I see people hating on him. Wally is a precious being and needs to be protected. He is sickly, but he is motivated. He loves Pokemon, and he is absolutely wonderful. He is 100% A tier for me. He has character. He has depth to him. He's actually a really good character. People just like to pick on him because he's not that strong, because he's kind of a wimp in their eyes, and I feel like that's extremely rude, and I hate it. He's a precious being who must be protected. He deserves to be up there in A tier. Next we get, I think this is the Gen 4 male rival, I think. Because that's not, I think that's the alternative to Dawn. I think. He's another character who is very blank slate. So he's just an easy D. There's like nothing to him. It's just like personality is just very bland, and just he's there to be the opposite of your character. So next we have Sharon, whose name I actually had to be reminded on recently because I forgot Sharon existed. That should tell you what I think of him. I was reminded that he has like this like competitiveness with your character and everything, and I think he becomes a gym leader eventually, but he is so bland. I don't hate him as much as Avery, but he is E tier for me too. He's not a good rival. He's so unmemorable. Shauna, on the other hand, is an absolute joy. She is bubbly, she is fun, she is likable. And I feel like a lot of people, she's another one like Wally, who I feel like gets a really bad rap with fans for some fucking reason. Like, everyone loves Serena, but when Shauna comes into play, it's like, oh, no one likes her. Why? She's kind, she's funny, she's likable, she has high energy, she's not annoying or anything. I would put Shauna in the B tier. She's not quite A tier level for me, but I would say I like her quite a bit still. The next character I remember this next character, Generation 6, one of your many rivals in that generation. I don't remember his name. I don't actually. I'm not even 100% sure if they're a he him actually. I don't remember their name. I kind of remember their personality. I think is more like nerdy and whatnot. Very analytical, I think, which fits with the sprites and everything we're seeing here, or character model rather. But I don't remember enough about them, so they're E for me, just because it's like not out of badness or anything. It's just, in fact, I'll actually upgrade it to D. I'll upgrade them to D, and I'll even put them above them because I remember a little bit about this character, and they're not as bland as these other three here who are just like so cookie cutter. They have more of a character to them. I just don't remember them that much. So they can't go above D though, for sure. Next we have How, your rival in Gen 7. How is good. I wouldn't say he's as good as Hop. A lot of people compare him and Hop, and I'm like, why? They're really not that similar. How is basically a shit ton of energy with a very huge amount of love for food. He loves his malasadas. He has a lot of energy. He's very fun-loving. He's very chill and relaxed. He doesn't have a lot of cares in the world. But he also has a really good heart and a good moral sense. I would put him in B, I think. I'd put him just below Shauna. He doesn't have as strong of a character as those in the A tier. But he's not bad by any means. Next we have Turd. I don't remember his actual name because to me he is just Turd. He is between Sharon and Avery. He's not as detestable as Avery, but he's such a turd. Like, that is literally what I named him when I played when I played Let's Go, because he's from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. He is so just ridiculously dumb. He's not enjoyable to experience at all. He is such a turd. So I have to put him there. Barry. Barry is very fucking annoying. Like, like you have characters who are very high energy, like Hal, right? And Hal stays away from being annoying. But then you have Barry. Barry is probably the most annoying rival. He's super high energy all the time. He's really fucking annoying about it. And he's not really all that great in much of any other way. I would put him in D tier. I'd put him above the cookie cutters. Because even though he's annoying, I don't like hate him. He's just annoying to me. So it's still D tier, but not any lower than that. Next we have Bianca, I believe her name was. Another one of the Gen 5 rivals along with Sharon. Where was Sharon? There's Sharon. Who I very barely remembered. Like, honestly, she's just, again, not memorable. Apparently she has a father. And it's like, when I heard about that recently, it's like, wait, what? She does? She has a character? It's like she is so unmemorable to me. She's more memorable than Sharon, though. So I'm going to put her just above Barry, because it's like, I don't remember her being annoying either, so I'll put her there just because I don't really remember anything about her. Like, outside of what I've apparently learned recently through, like, conversations on Twitter and stuff. Next, we have a couple more cookie cutters. Callum, I think his name is, and Dawn. They're cookie cutter characters. They don't have character outside of just the most generic possible rivals. So I'm just going to judge it, like, based on, like, design compared to these three that are currently already here. Callum would go at the bottom. Callum's design sucks. let's just be honest. His design sucks. And Dawn would probably be right about there. Next, I'm going to just get rid of these other two as well at the same time, Tierno and Serena, for the Gen 6 rivals. Tierno, I remember actually a surprising amount about. I remember that he likes to dance, that's a really big aspect of him. He's very friendly and everything, very kind, very warm-hearted. Tierno I would put in C. I would put him above Bede for sure because he's not as much of a dick. In fact, I'd put him at the top of C. I think that's good. And Serena, again, very cookie cutter. Just another one of those cookie cutter characters. Again, I don't know why they chose this image. It's like, that's very fucking weird. But just in general on Serena, probably right above Dawn. Yeah, I don't know why they chose that image for Serena. It's really weird. But now we have Gladian and Hugh, I want to say. Hugh is from Gen 5, right? I think he's from Gen 5. Is Hugh from Gen 5? Yeah, I think Hugh might be black and white too. Either way, Gladian's great. Gladian is a traumatized child who has been, like, just trying to protect his type Null and later Sylvali, or Sylvali, I guess is technically the correct pronunciation. Trying to escape the clutches of his horribly evil mother, and, you know, he's become edgy and everything because of it, but, like, the kid is very much traumatized, and he shows that he cares for his sister Lily as well as Pokemon in general. He's a great character. In fact, I would put him A tier. And I'd put him at the bottom of A tier because I like Wally still more a little bit though. Hugh, I remember his name, and that is literally it. I don't remember his character at all. I think he was kind of standoffish, if I remember right, but I'm not even sure if I remember right. So he's going to be D tier for me. Because he's not as bad as E tier, but definitely not as good as C tier. So I will put him I'll put him above Bianca because I remembered his name without having to be reminded. I only remembered Bianca's name recently because I was literally reminded of it during a Twitter chat. But Hughes I actually remembered on my own. So there are no F tier, though Avery is really fucking close. And there's only one S tier, that's Clara for me. And obviously this is, like I said, all my personal opinion, all personal perspective and everything. So if your rankings don't equate to mine, that's completely fine. And I would like to hear what your thoughts are. Now, obviously, there will be rivals in Generation 9 coming up. We have Nimona, who is a friendly rival from what I can tell from the trailers we've seen. We have the one dude, I can't remember his name, Arvel, I think, something like that. He seems like a really studious kind of guy, and I think he said he likes cooking. And then we have Penny, who I think I know the least amount about, based on the trailers we've seen. So we seem to have 3 rivals in Gen 9 so far, based off of what we've seen. And there's supposedly going to be DLC again, so I don't know what we'll get from that. But, yeah. I'm very confident in this list, I feel. And for those wondering, it's like, oh, there was like the rivals for Isle of Armor, but what about rivals for the other DLC? Which, the name of which is escaping me right now. From Gen 8, obviously, is what I mean. But the thing is, there really wasn't a rival. There's a couple of notable characters like Peony and Peonia, Mountain Daddy and his daughter, but neither of them are rivals to you. Peony is a former gym leader, and he acts as like a guide for you in a way. And Peonia is very much not a rival. She's more in the same vein as Lily from Gen 7, where it's just like, oh, she's a friendly face here and there, except she just doesn't have as big a role as Lily did. Lily was a very notable character. But yeah, so that is my ranking for the rivals of the main series Pokemon games. So let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know where you would rank these characters. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See you all next time.